The show's final season, Season 7, has completely upended everything. An extinction-level event forced Tabitha Arryn Westbrook to use her angelic powers to transport everyone back to the 1950s after Bailey's comet was directed toward the town. Our characters have entered their new lives without remembering what they were like before, and she is looking for a way to get away from the comet and separate the timelines. Archie KJ Appa, Betty Lily Reinhardt, Veronica Canela Mendez, Cheryl Madeleine Petch, Tony Vanessa Morgan, Kevin Casey Cott, and Jughead Cole Sprouse are once again teenagers who, in their own unique ways, fight against the oppressive standards of the time while investigating romantic relationships, both old and new with a fair amount of twists. But despite the fact that the 1950s gimmick was enjoyable at first and felt like a nice little nod to the comics, the show has become the one thing that no one could have said it was before: boring. However, the fact that these aren't the characters we've grown to love over the past 6 seasons is the biggest problem with this trip to the 1950s. Technically, they are, but they are distinct individuals due to their lack of memories and distinct histories. Thus, despite the earlier hints that the characters would retain their emotional memories of their past in the present, which initially appeared to be the case, this no longer feels like the case. The relationship between Archie and Betty is a prime example of this, as the final season has shown them getting very dirty. Prior to Bailey's comet striking Riverdale, their relationship did not feel as good. Both of them were ready to wed and live happily ever after and were incredibly in love. However, when Betty and Archie cheated on Jughead and Veronica in the 4th season, everything completely changed. Or, to put it another way, it ought to have, but the Riverdale writers didn't let go and kept pushing the best friend story of B and V. The friendship between Betty and Veronica was one of the first season's highlights for many, including myself. After that, it kind of went away, but it was still there in spirit, ready to be used whenever the writers wanted to revisit the dynamic. However, it would appear that those in charge are unaware of the fact that Betty and Veronica's status as best friends does not work when they are both pursuing Archie. After Archie and Veronica's kiss in the closet in the pilot episode, it hurt their newly formed friendship. Even though Betty was very interested in Archie and Veronica was aware of this. It undermined their kinship, some way or another, in the 2nd season when, as a result, the problem has only gotten worse since the cheating in Season 4 and the subsequent time jump, resulting in a wider gap between Betty and Veronica than ever before. Veronica continued to yearn for her former lover throughout Riverdale Season 6, which finally got serious about Betty and Archie's romance. In the 5th season, Archie and Veronica attempted to rekindle their high school romance despite the 7-year time jump. Archie had lingering feelings for Betty from their casual relationship that began upon their return to town and, obviously, high school. They were too different and wanted different things for their futures. Archie and Betty tied the knot at the end of Season 6 when Bailey's comet struck Riverdale. Fans are sick and tired of the two women's friendship because it frequently feels fake, as it did in the 6th episode of. There is a fan favorite ship on every show, especially teen TV shows, and Riverdale is no exception. But fans hadn't been able to agree on which one is best. Betty, Lily Reinhardt, and Jughead, Cole Sprouse, are regarded as the best ship by some, while Veronica, Camila Mendez, and Archie, KJ Appa, are regarded as the best ship by others. Since this is a CW show, every couple has had their moments in the spotlight as well as many difficulties. Despite the fact that they are arguably the most deserving, it seems as though they never truly received the love and appreciation they deserved. Despite the fact that FP and Alice, or Phallus, as their shippers refer to them, may not always be the first couple that comes to mind when Riverdale fans think of the many relationships on the show, they deserve to be because of how well each of the many tropes they balance works for them. Since Phallus is given so many of our favorite cheesy tropes from movies, books, and television, each one is perfect. First and foremost, they have a history. In their very first scene, FP tells Alice straight up, "Snakes don't shed their skin so easily." FP even learned that they share a child in Season 2 of Riverdale, and in Season 3, we got to meet the real Charles Wyatt Nash.